deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot, off the post, score!
Just by a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot, off the post, score!
Just by a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot, off the post, score!
Just by a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot, off the post, score!
Just by a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot, off the post, score!
Just by a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot, off the post, score!
Just by a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot, off the post, score!
Just by a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fans Only Sports Network's live broadcast of Division I hockey here in the state of Rhode Island. From Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink here in Smithfield, Rhode Island, the LaSalle Rams host the Cumberland Clippers in another Division I matchup. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Chris Heatu, bringing you inside today's game, once again between the LaSalle Academy Rams and the Cumberland High School Clippers. So, of course, both teams played last week. The date of that game was on the 12th. I believe that was Saturday, I want to say Sunday. They played around 1 o'clock. Cumberland was defeated at their home ice at Adelard at Mount St. Charles Academy, 5-2 by the Rams. The Rams took control late in the second, going into the third, and never looked back. So right now, when we take a look at the standings here in Division I hockey, in just a moment we'll take a look. We're seeing that as of right now, LaSalle sits on top with 21 points in first place in Division I, and for Cumberland, they sit in fourth place with 15 points, 7-3-1 on their season, while LaSalle boasts a 10-2-1 record. So, of course, Cumberland looking to get another win on the win column. They're already at this point in a prime position to potentially make a postseason run, and have been a very great emerging team here in the state of Rhode Island, along teams such as Prout and Warwick. So new competitors here in the state of Rhode Island to contend. And we'll get to see each starting lineup in just a moment. And of course, we'll start on the right side for the Cumberland Clippers. The number 3 of Sam Lopes. The 6 of Seth Perrin. Number 8, Jacob Lopes. Number 17, Troy Sen. Number 19, Jamie Robbins. And your starter in net tonight, the number 30 of Jared Johnson. So now we'll direct our attention over to the left-hand side to the home squad, the LaSalle Academy Rams. And starting with the number 8 of Ronan Peterson. Number 9, Mark Frateschi. Number 17, Matt Baxter. Number 20, Cameron Tasca. Number 23, Jordan McIntyre. And then in goal tonight, the number 1 of Ian Prompt. So that concludes our starting lineup. So now we will take a moment to remember America for the playing of our national anthem. And with the slap of the sticks on the ice, that means we're all set and ready to go from Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink once again between the LaSalle Academy Rams and the Cumberland Clippers. Before we get into tonight's matchup, we'll get the word from tonight's game sponsors. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Joseph Lammy, 696 Reservoir Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island. For consultation and information, visit josephlammy.com. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law. And then by RR Elite Recruits, with access to 3,000 schools and 80,000 coaches across 38 NCAA sports. For high school athletes looking to be seen, visit rreliterecruits.com today. So once again, getting set and ready to go for the start of this one. Salle looking to continue to move up in the standings to further their win differential over the rest of the league. And of course, for the Clippers, already in a prime position to make a postseason run, but has potential to climb up in the seeding with an 8th win tonight potentially. LaSalle could boast an 11th win if they manage to edge out today. Both teams have taken center ice, and that means we're ready to go in the start of this one. And with that, we're underway from Smithfield. LaSalle taking the face-off as McIntyre dumps it into the zone. Lopes to chase it down, and he'll dump it along the far side boards. Stopped by Ferteschi at the blue line, and dumped in. And now dumped back to center by Lopes. That puck's going to come down there as Prompt will stop it for McIntyre. Up ice to Tasca. Leading Ferteschi. Ferteschi clips it behind. There's the hook. And Baxter trying to take it around quickly. They pull Prompt from the net to get a 6th man out, and we get a whistle. So that's going to send the aid of Jacob Lopes to the penalty box as he gets charged for a hook. And so now, already with 14:27 to go, we're not too far into this one. The Rams will go on their first power play of the game. This could be a high opportunity situation for this team to get some points, of course. Not a lot of starters out on the ice. One of them to mention is, of course, Andrew Bradley, who has 11 goals in the state of Rhode Island this year, 3rd overall in goals this season throughout league play. And, of course, Sam Lopes and Christian Oliveira are sitting at 4th and 5th place. They are definitely the main source of production for these Clippers. But the Rams on the power play. They take a chance. This one over the top of the net that time for Marciello Martinelli. Getting it past Ferteschi as Ferteschi tries to get set. And this one cleared by the Clippers. And they'll dump it all the way back down as Prompt will stop it. That time as the 27 of Tyler Garfalo gets set. And it's passed over to Marciello behind the net. Martinelli, and now giving it off that time to Tasca. And Oliveira will send this down the other way, another clear. Pomfret to make the stop. And this one getting past Martinelli, and we get a whistle. Arm up in the air. And it looks like LaSalle's going to be charged for the penalty. And we're not really sure who the man in the box is going to be, but we're going to be on 4-on-4. So they're going to opt to send the 11 of Robert Natali into the box for the next 2 minutes. So we'll be on 4-on-4 hockey for the meantime. And then the Clippers will go on the power play. Off the face-off, Sen. And, of course, the 19 that time of Robbins. And it's taken away. Ferteschi. Now Bradley. Big tree Bradley through center. And he'll dump it in past Healy. And that time, that was the 6 of Seth Perrin. And now Troy Sen. Sends it behind the net for Perrin to take. This one up to Robbins, taken away by Bradley in the middle. And McIntyre will dump it back in. This time the two of Connor McGill to the near side. Ferteshi sends one down. Healy tried to tip it in, and it's deflected away by Johnson in net. Bradley being pushed off the mark that time by Perrin. Bradley winds up for the shot. Score right in the corner. Found the open lane in the corner of the net. And that's Andrew Bradley's 12th goal of the season. The Rams take a 1-0 lead on the Bradley has been one of the most valuable players for the Rams this season, and he shows off why he is once again. And so we'll face off still with 4-on-4 on the ice. Still waiting for our officials to get set. Gives us some time to have our game clock catch up with the actual game clock here. 12:40 to go in the first. LaSalle takes a 1-0 lead. So it appears they're just trying to get the penalty clock set. Because of course that is not a power play goal, so it just remains 4-on-4. So 4-on-4 hockey to still continue. And we'll face off at center. And we're back in the action. This one dumped forward that time by the 4 of Dylan Skirka. And at center, this one dumped up over to the 24 of Matt Franco. It's dumped into the zone. Bowden Tomka trying to push a man off the mark. McGill. Back to him from Lopes. McGill. The pass to Lopes. Lopes cuts to the middle, takes it through center. Lopes crossing the blue line cleanly. And too much traffic. He'll send it back up to the top shelf to Jacob Lopes. Perrin, this one wide. Robbins, excuse me. And now Lopes will stop it and trap it back down. And that time Baxter trying to escape the zone. And Franco will clear it. Tomka trying to gain on Robbins. Trying to poke it away, and McGill will take it. Not much time left on the power play as Oliveira comes onto the floor. Oliveira gets poked off the mark, and now the 18 of Pacheco will take it up. Pacheco winds up right into the glove of Johnson for the save. With 11:37 to go and 3 seconds on the penalty, and LaSalle will be back to full-strength hockey. It's been an excellent go about things so far. Rams already on their home ice. They take an early advantage. Cumberland still struggling to get a shot on goal so far. Of course, we're still in the early moments of this one. That time, the 8 of Lopes. Now up to the 17 of Sen, and it's poked back the other way. At center. Dumped in by Natali, and still at center. And dumped in by Sean Taylor. Pomfret. It's wrapped around the near side by Gregoric. Gregoric on the near side. And at the top shelf, one coming down to the middle lane, and it's poked back to center. That time that was the 6 of Seth Perrin, and that one off of Pomfret from the top of the zone. Keeping it in play. This one deflected back to center ice one more time, and now Perrin. That time to Lopes. Lopes had some traffic, and he tries to get it to Robbins. This one's dumped in to the south end of the floor. Baxter leads the pass. That time the pass was intended for Robbins. Robbins at center, trying to bring it down the center lane, and it's taken away. Back to Baxter. Baxter through center. Matt Baxter cuts it to the left. Baxter off of Johnson, a great save. Tried to sneak it in between the shin pads, but was unable to come up with it successfully. Martinelli has Lopes on his tail. Lopes with the takeaway. Mishandling the puck. Needs some assistance from Robbins. Robbins being pushed off the mark by McIntyre. Lopes with it now. Jacob Lopes winds up. This one off the back of those backboards. Lopes to Jacob. And that one off of Pomfret. Clippers starting to warm up this offense finally, and this one's cleared down the other way. And we'll come back and do it all over again with icing being the call on the floor. 9:45 to go in the first period. Let's get to another word from tonight's game sponsors. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Joseph Lammy, 696 Reservoir Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island. For consultation and information, visit josephlammy.com. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law. And then finally by RR Elite Recruits. With access to 3,000 schools and 80,000 coaches across 38 NCAA sports. For high school athletes looking to be seen, visit www.rreliterecruits.com aside for more information. On the far side that time, Garfalo. Back up to center to Baxter. Baxter with Skirka on his tail. And Peterson, glove save from Johnson one more time. 9.5 to go. The Rams have led 1-0 since 12:40 in the first period. Off of a 4-on-4 play. Resulted in a goal from Drew Bradley, his 12th of the season. Garfalo dumps it back in as the Rams took the face-off. Lopes, it's taken away by Frateschi at the blue line, and Bradley will dump it back in. That time, Michael Marabello trying to get a hold of it, and it's taken away by the 12 of Gavin Freiberger at center. Oliveira, Christian Oliveira, winds up for the shot. This one over the top, hits the protective glass. Dumped back in by Freiberger. Oliveira pushing off Healy and taken away by Peterson with the lead that time to Marabello. Marabello getting tripped up in the process. And Bradley. This one hit in the back of the net. Almost looked like it might have snuck in. No penalties on that trip, however. This one coming down a little wide to the right. And on the near side boards, here comes the 9 of Sean Taylor. Taylor cutting it to the middle, takes the shot. Pomfret will take the save. I'll stop the play with 8:30 to go. Only a minute went by on that sequence. And, of course, Pomfret almost opted to drop it to the floor, but second-guessed himself. Probably a wise decision in the process to make the save. And now we'll face off. Off the face-off, Oliveira. This one off of Pomfret, or that time, that was Robbins. And in the near side corner, Robbins trying to play some keep away that time from Franco. Robbins has it. Right in front, a great intercepted play by Ben Gregoric. And on the near side, Robbins tries to take one off of Pomfret, deflected away. And on the near side boards, Riley Brown. This one off of Pomfret again. Sen. Taken away at center. Great move that time from Franco as he treks up. McGill all the way back, nearly intercepted by Tompkin. This one off to Martinelli. Now back to Gregoric. And poked into the zone by Tompkin. By Tomka. To the near side, Robbins. Tomka can't keep it in the zone, and his team gets back on side before he crosses that line. A good chance, the shot off of Johnson. That time that was Riley Brown trying to make a play. Natali enters the zone. Robert Natali making some movement here as he tries to get around Skirka. This one to the far side that time. Trying to wind up is Garfalo. This one poked all the way back past Pomfret, and we'll do it all over again on the Clippers side as icing is called one more time. At center. This one over to Oliveira. Oliveira, this one wide to the right. Another one coming down, deflected away. Sent behind the net as Sean Taylor tries to find this hole. In the far side corner, Natali Trying to scoop it up is Murphy. And Murphy will take it through center. Seamus Murphy. Dump in. Pacheco trying to go and chase it down. Murphy takes it again. And at the top of the zone, Martinelli intercepted and dumped away by Taylor. A great one-on-one for Oliveira. Back of the net, shot, score! Christian Oliveira lights the lamp again for Cumberland. And they tie this thing up at 1 apiece. That's Oliveira's 11th goal of the season. It was a perfect passing lane. Christian Oliveira wide open ahead, got behind the defenders. And when one-on-one opportunities present themselves, he usually does not flinch at the opportunity. Cumberland back in this one now. And so we'll face off at center. Thunder 6.5 to go. Peterson being told to shake it off as Tasca will come in. Rams take the face-off. McIntyre up that time to Baxter. Baxter in the attacking zone on the near side. And this one up to McIntyre. That one over to Ferteschi. Ferteschi with the dump in. Peterson on the near side corner. Trying to bring it back to the middle. Baxter couldn't find it. Ferteschi, this one off of Sen. Troy Sen. Has Robbins. Robbins crossing that blue line. Looked like a little early, and that looked like a leading pass intended for Lopes. Lopes sends it back down the other way. Ferteschi. And this one being shuffled around on the near side. Robbins with the dump in. McIntyre dumps it around for Ferteschi. Now Baxter. And that one's going to hit the roof and out of play with 5:28 to go. Or 5:26. And as this one enters back in play, this one taken all the way down. This one gloved up by Jared Johnson for the save. As that time it was the 12 of Michael Marabello trying to take a chance on the Slaughter wrister. And we'll face off on that right-hand side of the floor. This one sailed to the far side and dumped all the way forward. Oliveira trying to play the takeaway as Gregoric. And now a good movement here. As that time that was the 21 of Matthew Collette on the floor. Collette pokes it on the far side. Bradley will take it through center for LaSalle. Bradley being pushed off the mark by Lopes. Healy with the takeaway. Vinny Healy gets it to Martinelli. Martinelli, this one down past Marabello. And over to Bradley. Bradley sends one into that far corner. Martinelli takes the windup as he's pushed off the mark, and Marabello has it here. Healy with Lopes on his back, as well as Perrin, or in this case Sen. Healy to Martinelli. Martinelli with Oliveira in his face. And Martinelli keeps possession. Taking it around the backside of the net. Couldn't find that back door. Back to Bradley. Drew Bradley cuts it back to the right. Hard cuts from this unit. Bradley, this one into the protective netting, out of play. And so off the face-off. On the near side. Trying to get the chance in front, and Johnson, the defense there to defend, as Sen takes it up through center. Troy Sen right at Pomfret, and Pomfret will glove that one up. 3:50 to go in the first, and we're all knotted up at 1 apiece. Of course, don't go anywhere after this first period intermission. It'll be a rather brief one. But then we'll have a much longer second period intermission going into the third as that Zamboni will resurface the ice. And now the face-off. And sends shot, deflected away. McGill couldn't take it away. Tomka trying to chase this one down. He has it. That one right in front, but not enough room for Franco to slow down. This one will come back to center, that time for Robbins. Jamie Robbins right off of Pomfret as Lopes is in the vicinity. The Rams defenders there to swallow him up. Now taking it across that time is Brown. This one deflected off the glass. This one across right in front, and the defenders were there. This one coming all the way back, and we'll get an icing call. 3:15 to go in the first. A lot of stoppage here. A very contested game so far. After Cumberland went down by 1, Christian Oliveira able to get a one-on-one with Ian Pomfret and gets it into the top shelf to tie things up at 1 apiece. Still waiting for the face-off. Off the floor, McIntyre kicks it downhill. This one dumped down. Trying to get it over towards Natali. This one back to the near side. Is that time for Teshi couldn't take it away. Or excuse me, that was the 19 of Murphy, and we get a whistle. Offsides the call against Cumberland. Excuse me, that was Sean Taylor. Was the 9 of Cumberland. So we'll face off back in the neutral ice. At center, dumped in off of Perrin. That time Garfalo. Tyler Garfalo. He'll send it forward over that time between the legs of Pacheco. Murphy trying to gain the zone. Pacheco there to assist. And Murphy with it here. Murphy being pushed into the boards by Perrin. Being some assistance that time as now Sean Taylor stands behind awaiting. And Murphy gains possession back to Pacheco. This one sails back up to Garfalo. Garfalo deflects off the defenders. Pacheco can't take away the puck, and Oliveira will dump it back to center. Garfalo to Martinelli. Martinelli, and we get a late whistle. And that's going to be an elbow call, that time against the 9 of Sean Taylor. Taylor drove Pacheco into the boards with 2:09 to go in the first. And so now, for the remainder of this first period, with only 9 seconds, the Rams will be on the power play until 9 seconds are left. Cumberland did allow a goal to be scored on a penalty. However, it was during a 4-on-4. Pomfret opted to come out for Ferteshi, but he'll take it himself. Ferteshi charges through center, that time up to Healy. Baxter behind the net with Lopes on his tail. Baxter over to Ferteshi. Ferteshi winds up for the shot right through the middle lane. Shot score! Mark Ferteshi lights the lamp for the second time today for the Rams. They take a 3-1 lead on a power play goal. Score now 2-1 as the Rams took full advantage of having that extra man on the ice, and Mark Ferteshi finds the opening through the 5-hole of Jared Johnson. Just before the end of the first period, we got a 2-1 lead. Now the face-off at center. Taken right away by Ferteshi. That one to the far side, intercepted right into the glove of Pomfret. Wow, Matt Collette nearly found himself an open lane to tie this thing up, but Pomfret able to glove it up quickly. And so with just about a minute and a half to go, once again the score 2-1 as LaSalle leads Cumberland. Of course, last week's game was a league game. This is also a league game. Of course, these two teams are playing back-to-back. McGill, this one wide to the right. Of course, LaSalle's played quite dominantly once again this season. Cumberland really emerging after last year. They played rather well towards the end of the year, but this season, that maturity of these players has really come together, and they deserve a chance in the dance between a lot of these teams that will be facing off here in the 2022-2023 Rhode Island Interscholastic postseason. This one dumped in behind the net, behind a Pomfret. Garfalo back to the near side board. Tasca trying to gain some help. Peterson wasn't there. Lopes trying to get over to Sen, and he missed him on his mark. McGill stops it at the blue line, keeps it in the zone. And Tasca, McGill winds up. This one off the defenders. Lopes. This one bounced off the boards. Sen on the near side, on the back end. Now that time, the 21 of Collette at the top shelf. McGill whiffs on the chance, keeps it onside. McGill, another one coming down. This one over the top of Pomfret. McIntyre clears it to center, but we're going to get a late icing call. And 22 seconds to go in the first period. And we'll face off on the right-hand side. And that time taken away by Gregoric. And off the backside, Martinelli under the legs. And that time Robbins trying to play takeaway. McGill keeping it in the zone. And this one dumped all the way down for Lopes, Jacob Lopes. Trying to trap it to kill out the rest of this period, and he will do it successfully. However, the Clippers trail after one by a score of 2-1 here at Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink as the LaSalle Rams lead this one. Once again, score 2-1. We'll be right back for the start of the second period here on Fans Only Sports Network. And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Oh, Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
It fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Oh, Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
It fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Oh, Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
It fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Back at center for the start of the second period. The Rams lead the Clippers by a score of 2-1. After one period of action, we're back in the saddle. Bradley bringing it up across the neutral ice. This one deflected off the skates of Perrin. And now here comes Taylor. Couldn't get a good extension on the center lane. Out the top shelf for Lopes. This one coming down off of Pomfret. Taylor. Back to Lopes. Jacob Lopes across to center for Oliveira. This one over the top of the glass, but it's still in play. Perrin with the dump in. Taken away by Ferteschi on the near side. And Ferteschi to Bradley. And led Bradley a bit too much as it's dumped back in for Oliveira. Oliveira wide to the right of this one on that chance. Now on the near side. Taken away by Bradley. Bradley has it poked away that time by the 12 of Gavin Freiberger, but Bradley still holds on to it. To Healy. Healy across ice, and that one leading that time Michael Marabello a little too much. As that time the 6 of Seth Perrin's trying to play some keep away. Healy with the takeaway. To Garfalo at the top shelf. This one coming down in front of Johnson. Healy trying to find the backdoor shot. Score! The third Rams player to find the back of the net. And that's the 2 of Vinny Healy. Just like that. Rams put up 2 unanswered goals to take a 3-1 lead. Didn't take very long at the start of the second. But the Rams trying to hold on to that top-tier seed here in Division I hockey. So we'll face back off at center one more time. Martinelli, that time to Garfalo. Back to Martinelli. And down ice. That one poked into the zone off of Baxter. McGill with the takeaway for Cumberland. On the near side board. Lopes trying to box him out. Lopes, Peterson, knocked to the floor. Baxter, and now Peterson somehow getting back to his feet to pull the puck away. Lopes doing a good job boxing him out, and Troy Sen will take it. Sen over that time to the 19 of Robbins. Jamie Robbins. Behind the back for McGill, whiffs on the chance, and that shot into the protective netting. That time Sam Lopes tried to finish the deal on Pomfret, but took too much of a shovel scoop as this one goes out of play. And Robbins, that one off of Pomfret, still in play. Martinelli. That one behind the back of Tomka. Clippers dump it back into the zone. Garfalo losing his footing. As that time, Robbins there in the vicinity. Stopped at the blue line by Lopes. Down to Sen. Sen, did he find the corner? No. Pomfret with the stop with 12:45 to go. What a play by the offense. The defense, of course, the goaltending, playing excellent. And officials trying to break up the extracurriculars. Back in the action, and that one, Lopes deflected off to the near side. Perrin sends it right at Pomfret, and he'll make the stop with the stick side. Just about 12 and a half to go in the second. The Rams lead at 3-1. Off of goals from Drew Bradley, Mark Ferteschi, and of course Vinny Healy. This one deflected off here for the 19 of Seamus Murphy. Murphy 1-on-1 with Johnson. Back of the net, score! Found the left corner. Johnson could extend the pad. And Seamus Murphy adds on goal number 4 for the Rams today. Complete, utter offensive domination so far from the Rams in the start of this one. And, of course, Johnson really being rattled today. Gave up 5 goals in the last one, but of course they came late in the game, as that score was 2-2 throughout most of it. So now we'll face off at center. And a timeout called by Cumberland. Score 4-1 with 12 and a half to go in the second period. We'll be right back following the timeout. The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Justin fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Justin fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
Back to Smithfield as the score is 4-1 following the timeout by Cumberland. Really had to talk things over after allowing 3 unanswered goals. They got to find a way to get back into this one. They take the face-off. McGill, that time to Lopes. Lopes, way too far down, and that's going to be icing. .17 to go, and once again the score sits at 4-1. LaSalle over Cumberland. Clippers need to find some type of offensive production, as their defense has just surrendered too much. You can see even in net, Jared Johnson during the timeout was sitting alone on the far right side of the Cumberland bench, really trying to take it all in and get that locked-in mindset. He needs some generation from his offense, however. Sen, it's poked away and taken away by Lopes, given off to Sam Lopes. Sam Lopes through center. And trying to whiff. He gets whiffed on the try. Healy in that time, Gregoric trying to play takeaway. And Healy will poke it away that time for Ferteshi. Bradley through center. Big tree, Bradley. Taken away as Healy sends it behind the back to him. And now Healy at the top shelf. That time Gregoric, pass for Teshi. Teshi keeps it onside. And taken away now by Sam Lopes. Lopes trying to gain the edge on Gregoric. A great poke check there, perfectly timed by the Rams D. And Bradley will take it back up once again. Bradley pokes it back, and it's dumped in. Marabello trying to get around here. As that time Perrin pokes it back up to the top shelf. Marabello and Peterson trying to take it away. And we get a late whistle, and there's the penalty. That penalty is going to be charged that time to the 6 of Seth Perrin. So the Rams will go on another power play with 10:52 to go in the second period. And they'll face off on the left-hand side. McIntyre behind the back. That time to Tasca. Tasca. Baxter. Across ice that time for Garfalo. This one off of Johnson. Tasca. Trying to read the zone. McGill trying to play takeaway, as well as Perrin. Or excuse me, Taylor. And this one back to Tasca. And poke back up to center for Taylor. Sean Taylor. He'll dump it in. McIntyre on the far side. Trying to play some keep away from Oliveira. And now that time, the 9 of Taylor. At the top shelf. McGill, this one off of several defenders. And Garfalo. That one to the near side board. Peterson. That time giving it off to Baxter. Tasca winds up. This one off of Johnson. Another one off. And Johnson will make the stop with 9:50 to go. And in front of the zone, over to Perrin. Or excuse me, Sen. Now Robbins. He has it dumped in. Sen getting tied up. Robbins there to assist. And Sen will take it away again. Sen up to the 4 of Skirka. And taken away up against the board that time by the 24 of Franco. This one coming into the slot. Lopes off of Pomfret. Sen trying to go around the right side. He'll get it to Jacob Lopes. This one coming down right in front. Nothing off the deflection. Martinelli, and Lopes takes it away. Lopes right in front for Sen. Off of Pomfret. Again, another save. Clippers have really turned it up in the last few minutes. Robbins to Sen. Sen. It's great stick handling, and this one off the boards to Lopes. This one coming down right off of Pomfret. Another one, and finally Pomfret will fall to the floor and stop the bleeding. Great save by Ian Pomfret, the junior, who of course is starting in net tonight over the 31 senior of Caleb Georgian. Georgian, of course, taking over the role last year for Max Cute. And Georgian has really cemented himself as one of the top goaltenders in the state of Rhode Island. And, of course, Pomfret trying to put himself in the conversation for next year because this will be his net for the season. And we get a whistle. And they're still fixing the moorings. And appears we're good to go. Taken away by Oliveira. This one off the glass. McGill down that time. That one off of Taylor as it bounces off of Pomfret. Murphy with the takeaway. And Oliveira to lead it back into the zone that time for his teammate Collette. Matt Collette being tied up by Garfalo, Natali, and this one out of play. And of course, speaking of goaltending, you take a look at goaltending wins this year. Georgian with 6 on the season so far. Johnson and him both tied for 6 on the year. And of course, in shutouts, Ian Pomfret, that's a player to note here today. He has 2 on the season. When in net, of course, he's given up a goal today, so shutout already out of the equation. For goals against average, Johnson with a 2.09 and Georgian with a 1.63. But, of course, Ian Pomfret, the man to talk about today, boasting a 1.63 average. This one off of him again, and he'll save the play with 8:10 to go. Pomfret with only 3 wins to his name this season, but definitely very defining ones. It's what's helped this team really get into the zone that it really needs to be this year. Lopes, third in the state overall in points per game, 1.72 average there. And Bradley with 1.23 to lead the Rams. Of course, Lopes with a higher scoring average in recent memory. Oliveira, this one off the back of the glass, and will just take a seat right on top of the net, and then he'll stop play with 8:05. Of course, an assist. Marcielo Martinelli, 13 to his name this year. And Garfalo right behind him with 11. And Perrin at the bottom, but still in the top in assists. He has 10 on the season. And points on the year, Sam Lopes, number 4 in the state with 19 to boast. And Bradley with 16 points on the season. Pomfret with another stop. So a lot of interesting statistics here in Division I hockey. Some great ones just mentioned there. Of course, a lot of these top in their categories in terms of scoring, points, saves, average. That's these two teams right here. They're the spearheads of that. McIntyre trying to lead it back up to center. Baxter will do that. Sen back to Lopes. Jacob Lopes trying to find his brother Sam, and Sam will poke it back to center where Baxter's awaiting for LaSalle. McIntyre off the board. On the far side, McGill back the other way. Robbins, Baxter, it's dumped in by Baxter. McGill, first to meet. Tries to gain the zone to Lopes. And the Rams keep it in the zone. Tasca off the skates to Baxter. Martinelli came in a little too hot there. And the Clippers take advantage of the mishap. And now Robbins trying to make a play. McIntyre there defensively. Pomfret to stick it away. Lopes to Jacob Lopes. To McGill. McGill with the shot. Wide left of the net. And Jacob Lopes stopping it just before it touched the blue line. Pokes it back in. Lopes with the shuffle down. Tomka there. Tosca, excuse me. That one off the post. You could hear it ring out. Clear as day. And that is clear as day as icing's the call on the floor with 6:36 to go. We'll get another word from tonight's game sponsors. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Joseph Lammy, 696 Reservoir Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island. For consultation information, visit josephlammy.com. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law. Then by our Elite Recruits, with access to 3,000 schools and 80,000 coaches across 38 NCAA sports. For high school athletes looking to play at the next level, be seen by visiting RR Elite Recruits. Go to www.rreliterecruits.com to sign up for more information. Just about 6.5 to go. The score 4-1. Rams lead this one by a very large margin right now, with 3 unanswered since the tie. Oliveira winds up. This one off of Fratescu, fell to the floor from the impact, and Bradley taking it behind Pomfret's cage. Bradley trying to lead it back up to center. And it's taken away at center that time by Perrin. A little bit of a displacement, and Bradley tries to dump it forward. Lopes back and forth. Bradley, it bounced off him, so they have to get back on side. The poke back to center that time as Marabella wasn't ready for it. But Garfalo will take it away. This one rifled down, and icing going to be the call. We'll step aside a quick moment and get a word from our sponsors at Precision Home Lending.
Want to close your home purchase or refinance faster? Contact me, David Delbonis, at 401-487-7379, President Precision Home Lending. Trust the experts and we'll make your loan experience amazing.
And we'll face off with 5:59 to go. And off the glass. And it looks like we might have to do it all over again. Nope, they're going to let play continue. McGill on the near side. This one rifled all the way across for Teshi. Going to have to dump this one back down. McGill off the glass. And we get a whistle. And it appears to be called offsides. This one deflected to the far side. Ferteschi, he'll dump it in. Back to the near. Garfalo, he'll send it down behind the net of Johnson. McGill on the boards. Lopes back to center. Lopes trying to lead it that time for Robbins. Robbins right to Pomfret, and he'll glove this one up. It's been a solid back and forth between the two. We'll get a face-off on the right-hand side. As the face-off ensues. That one coming down from Perrin, but it was a lazy one. This one dumped all the way down for an icing. Nearly had a one-on-one opportunity there as Baxter led the charge. Now we'll face off again in the Rams side of the ice. Lopes. This one coming down past Pomfret. Martinelli using the boards to get it over to Tomka. And Pomfret, he's going to stop it again. At the face-off dot. Puck sails through the air. Martinelli, Baxter. Baxter giving it off to Peterson. Peterson trying to gain the zone on McGill. Delayed penalty. And this one going to be against Cumberland once again. Peterson. Pomfret pulled from the net as they get an extra man out to try and get a quick goal. Bradley on the boards that time. The Tasca. Under the skates to Martinelli. Martinelli sends it downhill, and McGill will stop it finally as we get the penalty. And we get a slash called on the floor. And that one going to be charged to the 2 of Connor McGill of Cumberland. Rams have already had a couple of penalty goals on today. And this one going to last until 2 minutes and 14 seconds remain in the period. The Rams could find themselves up by an even larger margin if the Clippers can't kill it off. Baxter to the top lane. Ferteschi to Bradley. Bradley playing defensively. Ferteschi in the middle lane. This shot off of the back of Lopes. And now Healy behind the back, getting it over to Baxter. Behind the cage, Baxter cuts the other way. Baxter, Healy to Ferteschi. Ferteschi back to Healy. Healy takes the chance. This one deflected off of Johnson. And out of Healy. Back to Ferteschi to Bradley. Bradley downhill to Healy. Healy takes the chance, and this one a little wide. Baxter. Under a minute and a half to go on the power play. Baxter. Behind the cage of Johnson. Healy cuts back the other way. Cuts back the opposite way. Ferteschi fakes the windup. Cuts it to the far side. Now down to Baxter. And right in front! And that time Murphy's shot knocked away by Johnson in the defense. And they'll still try again. Baxter trying to play some keep away. Gets it to Healy. Ferteschi. Bradley. Back down to Healy off of his skate. Oliveira trying to take it away. And the puck's ultimately cleared down towards Pomfret. Bradley takes it back up ice with the 35-second mark on the power play. Rams have been doing pretty good so far, but Oliveira taking it away right in front, one-on-one with Pomfret. And a goal! Pomfret couldn't stop the puck in time, and Oliveira finds his second goal of the game. A short-handed goal is that. And now the Clippers bring things back a little bit closer to make it 4-2. With just 2.5 to go and 25 seconds to go in the power play, they find themselves back in the saddle. When in doubt, give it to Christian Oliveira and he'll make his magic work. One of the best shooters in the state. Not only that, the best shooter for Cumberland. Back over to Garfalo. And Garfalo will dump it in. Garfalo. Behind the back as he dumps it in. Used to wrap around the far side board. This one coming down right in front of the net. Natali, another one off the rebound, another chance. A lot of Rams in the slot, and neither can find the hole on Johnson. Back to full strength is the Clippers. Martinelli with the dump in. Back to Martinelli. This one coming right at Johnson, off of Johnson. Lopes wraps it around to the near side for Sen. And Garfalo sends one down into that far corner. Martinelli takes possession. Martinelli pushed off the mark there by Robbins. And the Rams keep it in the zone. Tasca cuts it to the middle lane. Tasca off of Johnson. Natali behind the back. Right in the middle of the slot. Tasca another one as Johnson had to lay out. Rams keep it in play. Natali. And brought back to center. Lopes trying to gain the edge there on Garfalo. A lot of physicality. And Martinelli lays out for it defensively. This one sails back to center off of McGill's skate. Lopes just couldn't find the separation. Just great job from the Rams defenders shadowing one-on-one. And that man was Garfalo as he dumps it in. Sen pokes it away for McGill. And that time Tomka. Back that time off the 16 of Brown. Riley Brown. Tried to get it under the skates. He was too far behind of Matt Franco as Robbins takes it up for Cumberland. Under a minute to go, he lost his footing as Tomka will take it away on the near far side. And now Franco. That time to Brown. Brown takes the chance. He tried to find that left side in between the stick. And will get a whistle to stop play with 35 seconds to go in the second. That was just a great movement there by Brown. He tried to find that corner side of the stick of Johnson. Johnson was able to cleanly knock it away. So now we'll face off. Off the face-off. Taken away by McGill. Bradley. Up to Garfalo. Not much time to go as there's under 20 seconds. This one off of Johnson. Murphy couldn't finish the deal, and Bradley takes it away again. Fratteschi stops it down. This one coming down. Nearly deflected in. Peterson being pushed off the mark. And Perrin wraps it around the boards. Taylor, excuse me. Back to center. Bradley will stop it on the floor. And that will end our first two periods of action. Score 4-2 after two as the Rams lead the Clippers. The Clippers bring it back within two with a late score at the end of the second. Rams added two this period to make it 4-2. And we'll take ourselves a quick break. Back in just a moment as we let that Zamboni work its magic on the ice. And we'll be back for the conclusion of this one. Score 4-2. LaSalle Academy Rams lead the Cumberland Clippers right here on Fans Only Sports Network. The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Dumps it in, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone. That is a touchdown.
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First by a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Then fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First by a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Then fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First by a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Then fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First by a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Then fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First by a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Then fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First by a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Then fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First by a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, Throws it back in the end zone. Intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires. Deflected. No. Rebound. Score!
The handball shot off the post. Score!
Let's try a kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher. Shot. Score! Cornell down the field. End zone. That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone. Intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires. Deflected. No. Rebound. Score!
The handball shot off the post. Score!
Let's try a kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher. Shot. Score! Cornell down the field. End zone. That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone. Intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires. Deflected. No. Rebound. Score!
The handball shot off the post. Score!
Let's try a kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher. Shot. Score! Cornell down the field. End zone. That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone. Intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires. Deflected. No. Rebound. Score!
The handball shot off the post. Score!
Let's try a kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher. Shot. Score! Cornell down the field. End zone. That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone. Intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires. Deflected. No. Rebound. Score!
The handball shot off the post. Score!
Let's try a kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher. Shot. Score!
Back for the start of the third period. Score sits at 4-2 as LaSalle leads Cumberland. And a penalty called right out of the gate against the 17 of Matt Baxter. Looks like some words might have been said at the face-off line. And coaching staff trying to argue this, but it looks like it's going to be all for naught. Cumberland going to be given a power play. Of course, it appears this penalty is more likely than not going to stand. And so Rams will be down a man. for unsportsmanlike conduct. Sen taking it across the zone for Cumberland. Sen circles it to Robbins. Robbins to Sen. This one deflected to Lopes. Lopes coming down to the right of Pomfret. And McIntyre. It's dumped all the way back down off a clear. The Rams chew off some time from this power play. Lopes. He'll take it from behind. All the way up front for Sam Lopes. And it's dumped in. Touched by a Ram, so no icing. For Teshi, back to McIntyre. And McIntyre will clear it again for LaSalle. Lopes. Jacob Lopes. Back to Oliveira. Oliveira, he'll dump it in. Past Pomfret. Sen on the far side board. And this one dumped away again by the Rams. Into that corner. Oliveira. And this one off of Johnson. That could have been dangerous there. And under a minute to go. About 50 seconds, in fact. Healy intercepts to Bradley. Bradley cuts it to the middle. Bradley couldn't get the shot off. A good poke check at the last second there by Lopes. Sam Lopes now with it. His brother Jacob with that poke check all the way up to his brother. And Lopes trying to gain the zone on Marciello Martinelli. And taken behind the net. Sam Lopes. To Robbins. To Jacob. Now down to Troy Sen. Sen back to Jacob Lopes. Into the corner for Robbins. Now Sam Lopes. Not much time. The Rams are just trying to chew the clock out. Robbins slammed off the backboard. And the Rams clear it as they get back to full strength. An excellent penalty kill there. Textbook, if you may. Bradley takes a shot right there. And Marabello there trying to get the rebound. And he'll take it away. A hard rocket shot from Bradley. And the Clippers intercept. This one dumped all the way down. Touched by LaSalle. So line change will come for both sides. And it will stay in play. Back towards center. Cutting through the middle. Great move by Garfalo. And Garfalo bounced off the defenders and on the near side. It'll come back to center. Fratteschi dumps it back in. McGill trying to get the takeaway with Sean Taylor. And McGill slammed into the boards by Bradley. A hard check. And on that far side, Collette. Playing some keep away. The puck's kicked over to Bradley, who takes the chance. This one wide to the right. Fratteschi sends another one down wide to the left. And now at the top of the zone, dumped back in by Gregoric. Bradley, another one off of Johnson. Still in play, McGill. And now Fratteschi right into the chest of Jared Johnson for the save. 11:47 to go. We'll get one final word from tonight's game sponsors. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Joseph Lammy, 696 Reservoir Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island. For consultation and information, visit josephlammy.com. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law. And then by RR Elite Recruits, access to 3,000 schools and 80,000 coaches across 38 NCAA sports. For high school athletes looking to play at the next level, be seen by visiting RR Elite Recruits. Go to www.rreliterecruits.com to sign up for more information. Brown trying to cut it to the middle. Brown takes the chance. It's off of Johnson. Tomka, another one off of Johnson. We'll finally get a whistle. And not sure why the stoppage, as there was no penalty called, and the save was not even yet made. And on the face-off, the draw taken away by the Clippers. At the top of the line, Gregoric. This one into the glove of Johnson to stop the play. 11.5 to go. The Rams still lead at 4-2. Clippers have been struggling to get back into it to make it a much more even game. Rams are trying to put this one out of reach. On the face-off, Lopes. Back to the near side, trying to get it to Sen. Fratteschi sends this one down off the skates of Lopes. And Gregoric trying to keep it in play. Tomka, he'll send it back the other way, but Brown can't touch it as if it would have been offsides. Gregoric with a nice chip. Back to Franco, and now Tomka, and we get the whistle. They get called for offsides anyways. And dumped in. Pacheco taken away by McGill. And this one deflected way out of play into the home bench. With 10:57 or 10:55 to go in the third. On the near side, Oliveira getting it over to his man, Collette. But the Rams take it away for Teschi. This one down into the near side corner. Martinelli, and gloved up that time by Johnson. Martinelli trying to bring it downhill. Natali, scoop behind the back. Pacheco, this one right off of Sen. Sen trying to gain the advantage to get it one-on-one with Pomfret. It goes a little too far, and he'll set up the Clippers. This one intercepted. Pacheco with the takeaway. It's bounced off by Sen. Robbins sending it down into the left lane and scooped away from Lopes. But Sen sends it back, and it's intercepted by Martinelli. Giving it up to Natali. Natali through center. And it's sent back the other way. Ferteschi. Mark Ferteschi enters the zone into the slot right off of Johnson, still in play, and Murphy couldn't see him in the puck. Seems like it might have gotten lost somewhere. And a little bit of extracurricular talk after the play had concluded. It appeared the puck might have gone into the jersey of Murphy. And we'll come back to center. And Lopes behind the net of Johnson. That one dumped away all the way down ice. And we will get an icing call with 9:43 to go in the third. At the top shelf for Teschi, trying to get it over to Tasca. And taken away at center by Freiberger. For Teschi that time to Garfalo. Garfalo getting tied up a bit. And it's poked back the other way. This one sails, displaced at center. Peterson now. Back to Ferteschi. Now to Garfalo. Garfalo up to Baxter, who will dump it in. Trying to play the lead. Peterson at the top shelf. Garfalo. And intercepted by Oliveira. Oliveira trying to gain a one-on-one advantage, and he falls down to the floor. We get a whistle. This one's going to go against LaSalle. Oliveira nearly had another breakaway try. The defenders closed up quickly. And Oliveira still down on the floor. And it looks like he might be able to get up, but he is definitely hurt. We'll step aside for just a brief moment while they talk things over. The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right. Throws it back in the end zone. Intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Jumps in, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone. Intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Jumps in, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
Back in the action after the injury. LaSalle going to be on a penalty kill as the Clippers take a power play from what was likely a tripping call. Garfalo uses the boards to wrap it around to the center, and they effectively clear the puck at the start of the power play. Robbins trying to lead Lopes. Lopes on that winger side, taken up behind the net. Robbins to Lopes. Back to Robbins. And now behind the back over to Lopes. Lopes to Sen. Now Jacob Lopes. This one off the post. You could hear it clang. And the Clippers somehow still keep this puck in zone. McGill ties it up. And Pomfret will glove that one up with 8:21 to go and a minute 19 on the power play. Step aside a brief moment to get one final word from our sponsors at Precision Home Lending.
Want to close your home purchase or refinance faster? Contact me, David Delbonis, at 401-487-7379, President Precision Home Lending. Trust the experts and we'll make your loan experience amazing.
Back in play. In the far corner, Sen at the top shelf to Lopes. That one a wind-up from Robbins off the glass and rolls all the way down the opposite way. Jacob Lopes with Peterson on his tail. He pushes him to the floor. Now Lopes trolls towards center. Gets the pass to Sen. Sen and tied up at the blue line. And Oliveira, who's back out on the ice, gets called for the offsides. With 51 seconds to go. Definitely fortunate that Oliveira wasn't that banged up to come back out on the floor and play. And now we'll get a whistle for play to resume after the offsides at neutral ice. Lopes. He'll dump this one in. Pomfret. Get the stop for Bradley. This one wrapped around back to the near side in the opposite way. Johnson. He'll stop this one for Oliveira. Oliveira tries to gain the zone on Healy, and he's tied up. And it looks like the Rams coaches were trying to look for a penalty. Lopes on the floor. And he can't even seem to get up. Sam Lopes on the floor, and he's clutching that knee, that right knee of his. We'll step aside one more time for another injury timeout. In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone. Intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Jumps in, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone. Intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Jumps in, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot
high kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher. Shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And Sam Lopes taking off the ice as he sits down on the bench. We hope he appears to be all right. And right in front of the box. This one shoved back and forth as it's dumped in. Lopes with the takeaway. Behind the net of Johnson. He'll cut back in the opposite way. And he'll pass it to Freiberger. Now that time it's dumped in off of Taylor. And icing going to be the call. 6:56 to go in the third. As the Rams still lead the Clippers 4-2. What was a lot of scoring in this one has really dimmed down as both the defenses and goaltending, respectively, have really stepped up their game. The Rams still hold the advantage as they had 3 unanswered since that 1-1 tie early in the first period. Now Freiberger taking away that time, and nearly a good chance for a setup that time for Matt Franco, but it's stopped by Johnson in the process with 6:50 to go in the third. Martinelli at the top of the blue line. He'll dump it in. Tomka trying to get over for Franco. And that time Taylor boxes him out to dump it away. At the top of the zone, Oliveira trying to find the shifty lane around McIntyre. The shot back of the net, score! Cumberland answers, make it a hattie for Christian Oliveira. The hat trick machine. Saw him do it in the Burgle Holiday Classic, and he just did it again today. Gets the South Academy Rams to bring the Clippers within 1. 4-3 the score now with 6:32 to go late in the third period. Wow. The Clippers have really stormed back into this one, proving that they're not done yet. Sam Lopes back out on the ice. Both him and Oliveira have returned to play. And that's definitely a good sign for this Cumberland unit that's so deep in depth in terms of scorers on the floor. This pass over to Sen. And deflected past Tasca. Now up to the center lane as Skirka tried to feed it. And now Lopes trying to gain around Garfalo. A great play there. Boxing him out. This one off the side of Pomfret. Lopes back on his feet. He's pushed back again. Garfalo behind the backboard. He'll cut it back the other way. And shuffles it to Baxter. Now back to him, Garfalo. Garfalo shifts through the center lane. This shot off the back of the glass and still in play. Peterson with the takeaway. And now Baxter has Skirka on his tail, along with Lopes. Taken away by Tasca for Teshi to Garfalo. Garfalo with the shot. This one wide to the left. Baxter cuts it back to the left, and there was nobody in the slot. Ferteshi fakes the windup, cuts it to the boards. And dumps it in as he had Sen on his tail. Try to combine those two words. Here comes Sean Taylor. Taylor trying to gain the zone around Garfalo, and we're going to get a late penalty. This one's going to go against LaSalle. That's the break Cumberland needed to get back into this one, as Taylor was tripped up on the previous play. And that's going to force the 27 of Tyler Garfalo to head to the box for a tripping call. And now the face-off. It's dumped all the way down and cleared. Off the face-off, and Lopes will take it. Lopes. This one to Oliveira. Oliveira right under the skates over to Robbins. Jamie Robbins cuts it back on the far side. And trapped on the skates of Martinelli. as Sam Lopes and Sen now. And now poke back to the top shelf for Jacob Lopes. To Robbins. Robbins right into Pomfret's clutches. Minute 25 to go. And we'll face off on the left-hand side. On the face-off, Lopes. Sen. Sen takes the chance. It's deflected off the defenders. Sen bounces off the skates, and it's cleared effectively by LaSalle. Healy was trying to skate all the way down for it, and it's dumped in by Murphy. Murphy, wide open lane right in front of the net, and it went a little wide to the right of Johnson. And this one under Lopes as it's dumped in. Under a minute to go on the power play. LaSalle trying to avoid the damage. Robbins or Lopes. Lopes stops it at the blue line. Sends it down to Sam Lopes. Bradley trying to avoid the chance. Trying to gain the advantage on Sen. Backhands it. And it's stopped at the blue line. Kept in by the Clippers. Sam Lopes. Lopes. Cuts it to the left. Lopes. Off to Robbins. Now back to him. Now to Jacob. Jacob Lopes wide to the right on the chance. Bradley. Too many Clippers surrounding him, but there's time running out on this power play. Lopes. Sen. Sen takes the chance off a Pomfret, the save, and Bradley effectively clears it for the final time on this power play. The tension's really building late in this one. Martinelli. He'll take it up. Back to full strength as he's slammed into the near side. And McGill will have it. Gains the advantage on Pacheco. Pass Peterson. Intercepted by Tasca in the zone for LaSalle. Tasca cuts it back to the near side. And we get a whistle. 2:57 to go. Score 4-3. We'll see what this dead play is about. Net came off the moorings. Tasca. Ferteschi dumps it in that corner. Peterson. This one sails right in front of the net. Getting a hole tied up a bunch. And now here comes the 15 of Colin Rayleigh. With Collette. They have the puck trapped on the far end. Time really starting to wear itself out as it stays in that corner. And this one wide to the right that time as Perrin took a chance. McGill with the stop. This one off of the ceiling, and that'll stop play. 2:11 to go, late in the third. And pretty soon, the Clippers are going to have to consider taking Jared Johnson off the floor to essentially get 6 men on the ice and try and tie this thing up and force overtime to decide the factor of this game. This one a lot closer than what we saw last weekend. Crazy enough as it is. And the 5-2 win for LaSalle. LaSalle looking to edge out the Clippers right now so they can be 2-0 against them on the season in league play. Oliveira that time to Lopes. Lopes takes the chance off of Pomfret's chest and pushed away by Healy before Pomfret could make the save. On the far side, Sen will send it the other way for Robbins. Rams really letting time be the deciding factor in this one. They want to kill as much as they can. Oliveira trying to get in on it. McGill, Bradley boxing out everybody as he clears it back to center. Oliveira trying to gain the advantage on Bradley, who's poke checking him a whole bunch, and Healy He'll dump it away with a minute and a half to go. Intercepted again by Healy. Taken away by McGill. And on the near side, Sen. Sen, and dumped away by Healy. Time about to run out here, and the Clippers need to take full advantage. Dumped in again by Garfalo. Going over towards Johnson, who gives it to Oliveira. A minute to go in regulation. And the Rams look to close this one out strong. Sen trying to take it up for one last push. Gets it to Oliveira. Johnson waiting to come out of the net. Oliveira brings it up. Johnson taken off the floor. And we get a whistle. With 44 seconds to go. And we'll face off at neutral ice. And the penalty is going to be charged against LaSalle. So LaSalle going to be down a man. About 40 seconds to go in the period and in the game. So Riley Brown going to take the penalty. So the Rams are going to be down one man. So it'll be 6-on-4 hockey to end off the game, potentially. Or the Clippers could potentially push this one into an extra period. Tensions rising and building. It feels like we're in a playoff game of our own here. The last 3 games I've covered here felt like playoff games. Late in the season, this is where hockey gets the most exciting. And another stoppage. And we're back in the saddle. The Rams clear it. This one off the deflection. It stays in play. Bradley trying to end it, and it's poked away off of Robbins' deflection. McGill with the lead to Oliveira. Oliveira whiffs on the opportunity, and Bradley backhands it to center. Robbins to Lopes. Under 20 seconds to go. Lopes needs to make something happen. He'll dump it in. For Teschi to meet it. Up against the backboard. Time expiring. He's just trying to kill the rest of the game out. Robbins trying to find the lane to get a shot off. This one off of Pomfret, an exposed net. McGill on the floor and Pomfret, and the game's over. The Rams win. What a way to end on this one, and Pomfret getting a little into it with Oliveira. Late extracurriculars as McGill don't even know how this goal was not scored. Pomfret was on his belly for the last few seconds, and the Rams defense was in the Clippers' face. However, that's going to all but do it, ladies and gentlemen. Final score, 4-3. The Clippers stormed back after being down 4-1 and couldn't finish the deal to send this game to overtime, and the Rams walk away with their 11th win of the season. Thank you all for tuning in to this exciting matchup today. Once again, between the LaSalle Academy Rams and the Cumberland Clippers. It was a tough one throughout, but the Rams took full advantage during the tie game to add 4 goals on and never looked back, and the Clippers did everything they can to battle back in, but were unable to do so, especially at that last second. Great game from both offenses, defenses, and goaltenders. Thank you all for tuning in to today's game. And we'll catch you all this weekend as there's a lot more hockey to be decided, especially with seeding here in Division I hockey. Final score of this one, 4-3, as the LaSalle Academy Rams defeat the Cumberland High School Clippers. We'll catch you all on the next one. I'm Chris E2, and we'll see you on the next broadcast. Enjoy the rest of your week.